श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
Greetings everybody. Shree Mahaganapriye Namaha. Today's video I'm going to talk about how to increase devotion to your Ishta Devata or to your Upasana Devata. This question I get a lot in my Facebook posts or whenever I do a podcast. So I would like to answer this to the best of my ability. One question that I always get from beginners is their japa, their mantra recitation. After some time, it feels mechanical. And the issue is they think there is something wrong with it being mechanical. Now, there's actually nothing wrong with that. It will happen. You cannot have optimum emotions and feelings and devotion all the time. Anybody who has achieved things in the fitness sector, they have changed their health, their body composition by going to the gym 3 times, 4 times a week, controlling their diet and things like that. They will tell you if they only went to the gym when they were motivated, when they were feeling good, they would not have achieved that. If people only went to work where they felt motivated and it was not mechanical, half the people in the world will be jobless right now. So you can't be putting that kind of insane expectations on spiritual practice. I used to tell a female shishya of mine when she had this issue, I was like, you have 2 young kids, right? Do you always feed your kids with the utmost love and affection? No. Half the time you just bring the child to eat and eat, because the most important thing is for the child to eat. That emotions and feelings can come later. So do not be discouraged when you are first starting spiritual practice and you feel things are mechanical. Now even in this tantric text called the Gayatri Rahasya, it is mentioned that everybody gets benefits according to how well they do their sadhana. Even if it's mechanical, you will get that equivalent amount of benefits. There is no statement saying that if that japa is mechanical, there will be no benefits. You will get benefits, so don't worry about that. Now, how to increase bhava or devotion to your devata? That is a tricky question because everybody has a certain liking for a certain form of devata. This is mostly either coming from their past life karmas or things that they were taught as a child. If a son or daughter, when they were young, their parents worshipped a specific deity, odds are they will also worship the same deity. Or if they had certain tendencies, their devata has to be this character, a symbolism of loyalty, of courage, of subservience, then they might have a tendency to worship Hanuman Swami. If they have a tendency to like someone that goes against the rules, breaks the rules, someone who's an anti-hero type character, they might worship Bhairava or a Grama Devata form of Bhairava like Karpan Swami and things like that. If they like the form of God to be a Devi, then the many forms of Devi. So a lot of this is unconscious. How do you increase bhava and devotion? One aspect is outside of your daily practice. How often are you actually thinking about that devata? If you are spending 1 hour a day on the devata, on official spiritual practice, the other 23 hours a day you are gossiping and getting involved in unnecessary indulgences, then you are actually worshipping those indulgences more than that Ishta Devata or this Devata form that you really, really like. Throughout the day, other than your official practice, you can do many unofficial things to build that devotion to the Devata. Be it reading their Purana Kathas, reading Bhashyas of their Sahasranama, Ashtotra Namavalis, reading about the miracles of the saints who are associated with these Devatas. A lot of things can be done throughout the day to build that love and devotion for the Devata. If you are looking for specific strategies, you can take one mandala. A mandala is more than 40 days, so can be from 41 to 48 days. Mandala practice for Ganapati, Ganesha, asking him to bring you closer to your Ishta Devata. So you could do his stotra part. Ganesha Stavaraja is a powerful stotra that comes from the Tantras. We have actually the manual for it and videos for it in our channel that you can check it out. And that sankalpa that you take for that entire mandala is asking Ganesha to get you closer to your Ishta. Another way you can do that is taking an anushtana for your Ishta Devata himself or herself with the sole sankalpa asking the Devata how you can serve the Devata and nothing else. It should not be about you at all. You should not be asking, I want to have your darshan, these kind of like crazy things at the beginning. Ask them without any selfish nature, with just the desire to serve them. They will respond. I've seen it happen many, many times. Now, just by spamming mantra parasharanas after mantra parasharanas, a mantra parasharana is a sustained mantra practice where you do a minimum of 100,000 japa or 1 lakh japa, followed by their angas like homa, which is fire sacrifice, tarpanam, water offerings, annadana, feeding brahmanas, priests or the poor. It constitutes a mantra practice, aparasharana. The details can vary according to tradition and sampradaya. People who do one parasharana, which takes like a year or 8 months, 10 months, and then immediately jump to the next parasharana for another deity or even for the same deity, I've never seen them get much results. Because it's like cooking something in a pot, and after all the hard work of cooking and the food is fresh and ready, you start cooking a totally different dish on the same pot without even consuming that food in that pot. What is the point of cooking in the first place then? After a sustained spiritual practice for a deity, you need to take some time off from that intensity. Reduce the japa count. If you are doing 10 malas a day, 20 malas a day during that sustained spiritual practice, for the next few weeks after the completion, do 1 or 2 malas. Your minimum daily standard, you upkeep your nitya. You start reflecting on the nature of the deity. This can be done by reading the Puranas that are associated with them. For example, if it's Shiva, there's Linga Purana, Shiva Mahapurana. If it's Ganapati, there's Mudgala Purana, Ganesha Purana, and reflect on the stories. That mantra sadhana that he had done for a sustained period of time will help you unlock a lot of things that are hidden inside the Puranas. Those are the words of the rishis. They have magic in them. Another way is if you have a dhyana rupa of the devata in your puja space, like Vallabha Ganapati, after that sustained mantra practice, do meditation and focus on the deity 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Do not do mantra japa. Just sit and in silence have a communion with that form of the deity. You can just look at the deity, sit in silence, and build that connection. Another way this can be done is going to temples of the deity and sitting in front of them, not asking them for anything. You can offer their favorite malas and puja items without asking for anything. Just sit in front of them and just meditate on the form. Another thing you can do is after every Purasharana or sustained mantra practice, undertake a kshetra yatra to a kshetra that is related to them. If it's Shiva, you can go to Shree Sailam, you can go to Kashi, plenty of other places, Pashupatinath. If it's Ganesha, you can undertake that Ashtavinayak Yatra in Maharashtra. You can go to Morgon, Mayureshwara temple. You can go to Pillarpatti in Tamil Nadu. There are a lot of beautiful, powerful Ganesha temples. If it is Bhairava, there are a lot of powerful shrines of Bhairava in Delhi, in Ujjain, in Kashi. You can undertake kshetras there. And after that kshetra trip, go on a downtime for some time to allow the Shakti generated from the Purasharana to build within you. Another thing is, how do you express loyalty to the Devata? Every Hindu has to wear a sign of the Devata who is their Ishta or who is their Upasana or spiritual practice Devata. That is one sign to show not only to other people but also to the Devata that you belong to them. Now, in today's modern world, practically speaking, not everybody can wear a Tripundra to an office work without getting a lot of negativity from these pseudo-secular people. But a little sindoor. If you are worshipping Ganesha, a little orange sindoor. If you are worshipping Hanuman Swami, orange sindoor. If you are worshipping Devi, red sindoor. And things like that. To show that your loyalty always lies in them. It goes a long way in building that connection to that Devata. So it no longer becomes just that 1 hour practice you do at home, but this is a reminder that instigates you to always be thinking of that Devata. Another aspect is Varatas. Now, spiritual practice, Annadana, feeding the poor, Brahmana Bhojanam, feeding children who are studying the Vedas in Veda Padashalas, builds punya, right? Good karma. But if you already have a lot of negative karma, papa, no matter how much you build the punya, you're not going to see progress in your spiritual path. You need to increase punya and you need to do prayaschitta for the papa. One important way of doing prayaschitta for your papa is the Tithi of your Ishta Devata. Let's say Chaturthi Tithi for Ganesha, Pradosha for Shiva, Ekadashi for Vishnu, and so on and so forth. Take a vrata on that day with the sankalpa that you are doing prayaschitta for all previous papas that you have committed in this life and in previous lives. And when you're taking vrata, fast, it is not just consumption of food, it is also consumption by your eyes, consumption of what you're hearing, consumption of what you're thinking. You can't say you're taking vrata for a deity and you are vegetarian, but you're indulging in gossip with your colleagues at work. You are watching a lot of entertainment on YouTube. You're going down that social media rabbit hole. When consumption is reduced, vrata means reduction of all forms of consumption, be it seeing, hearing, and eating. Reduce all of that on that day and focus on that devata who is your Ishta or your Upasana devata. With time, you will build that bhakti for the devata. Another way is, most of the devatas, the common devatas, have Ashtottara, they have Sahasranama, and many of these Ashtottara and Sahasranama have bhashyas, explanations written by great saints and sages. Get those books and reflect on each name of these forms of devatas. So, when you read the bhashya, rather than doing just mechanical puja, Om Bhairavaya Namaha, Om Bodhanadaya Namaha, these kind of things, get a bhashya and do it heartfully on what each name means. And then your understanding of the devata, your realization of the devata expands. And when that expands, your ability to have that devotion and bhakti also expands. So these are some tips on how you can grow your spiritual practice, especially mantra sadhana to a particular devata. I hope you find this helpful. I'll talk to you guys again. Kartantuni.